Cuckshack. Today we talk about 3D animation and mostly what it means to have numbers on the internet. You know, like popularity and stuff like that. But let's warm up by the fire first.
Give us the short and skinny for our amazing Cuckshack fans out there, what exactly you are and what you do and what your little position is in the nugget that is the furry community.
Well, I'm TwitchyAnimation, my cakes will burn. I have a million other names because I was too dumb to actually make one account. But essentially, I'm just a source filmmaker animator. I've been going around for about a year and a half now, mostly on Tumblr. Recently started myself up on FA and Twitter, and I've been getting a steady following, so been trying to do my best with the stuff that I can do, making stuff here and there. Most of it is of decent quality, I would say, and I hope to just continue doing this as long as I can, really. I've found something that I enjoy, so I figure why not.
Listen to this humble son of a bitch. No, I wouldn't call your stuff run-of-the-mill. Like, something that I feel that really like separates you from the pack is that you're extremely dedicated to the craft. You're making this kind of content like 2 or 3 times a week sometimes, maybe even more.
Actually,
like, you pump out a lot of shit.
It's actually like 2 or 3 times a day, but...
Fuck me, dude. Like, holy shit.
Trust me, you're not the only one with that reaction. Most of everybody, well, even the people who complain about my quality, they're like, how the fuck do you push this shit out so fast? And I just say, I don't know. It's just, I've always done everything this fast. Whether it be from, like, actual jobs, other hobbies, anything. I don't know what really causes it, what gets me from here to there. I just sort of get the idea in my head and do my best to get it out as exactly as I want it to be.
I'm thinking if I were to throw some of these up onto the cuck screen, the TV in the background, I'm going to have to be very creative with the cropping. If I show a little too much flesh, I think this video is going to be taken down, so you might just get some headshots, maybe some nice lighting going on, that's about it. But you get the idea, yeah. Twitchy makes a lot of your favorite characters, Dota 2, Overwatch, just anything with amazing monsters or big characters or large curvy frames, and slaps them together, and he takes commissions on the reg. What do you feel really flourished your commission scene? Like, when do you think that kind of took off?
Honestly, I'm not sure. The first commission I actually got was just a few days before Christmas of 2016? Yeah, 2016. Just a few months after I started, and it was like some generic Overwatch Mercy thing, and I'm like, why not? I don't usually do human stuff, but I figured I want to do it. But this is also the first time I've really taken money for a private thing, so like, besides jobs and IRL stuff. So I was like, oh shit, I gotta hope I do it really well. And lo and behold, I did. They really liked it, and slowly I got more and more people. None of them were even referred to the guy. I don't know, I guess just because I got myself out there, just kept posting and posting and posting, and eventually people who like what I do found what I do, and they're like, shit, I'm gonna get some stuff from this guy.
Do you feel like those early ones are the ones that gave you your reputation now? Like, do you think that Mercy one blew up, or was it just from constantly doing it that you just kind of slowly build up?
The Mercy one wasn't actually posted because they wanted it private, but I think what really got me started was... I'm trying to actually remember. Oh yeah, well obviously when I got the Kindred model. That's one thing that I'll probably talk to you about later or after this, because I have some fucking...
Ooh, juicy private goss. Ooh, that's not for you guys. That's on the exclusive Cuckshack. Yeah.
Oh, no, not like that. I mean, like, during this conversation. Because I have a lot of fucking shit to talk about when it comes to private models. But, yeah.
Well, I'll tuck her in, everyone. Get comfortable.
Well, actually, should I talk about it now, then? Yeah.
Yeah, fucking, if you're on the subject, we'll probably forget otherwise.
Essentially, I'll go into more of them later, but it's all started with the Kindred model, because I got into animation because I'm like, fucking League of Legends, what a shit game. Holy fuck, this little goat thing, I want to fuck it really badly. And I'm like, well, no one's making enough porn, and I don't have any money, so it looks like I gotta do this shit myself. So I learned how to rip models. I completely fucking failed at it, but luckily, there was one already for the Gmod workshop, and I'm like, fuck using Gmod to make porn, I'm gonna learn Source Filmmaker. So, I did, and I started really slowly. It took a while to actually get the Kindred model going, because there's all that issue, but then I finally did, and the hands were disconnected from the body, so that was fun trying to hide that. but it all worked out in the end. But what really got me out was the fact that after I learned all that shit, a friend of mine took notice, and he's like, I know what to get this motherfucker for Christmas this day. And lo and behold, Christmas morning, fucking Kindred model, high quality, the one that everybody can see now, and constantly pesters me about. So, with that, that's how I really think I got my name out there. I had something... Well, I'm just gonna say, before this, there was not much of a big furry scene when it comes to source filmmaker and 3D animation. I'm like one of the 5 guys who actually do that stuff. Everything else is just normal human stuff. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing something that I could do myself, and I felt that I sort of stand out. Of course, there's other people out there like Ictonica. He really inspired me. His stuff is like mostly gay, but of course that's not an issue with me. Anyway though, getting back on the topic. The Kindred model itself took some time to get up and running, because it was just a sculpt. A model, I suppose. No rig, none of that stuff. But once we got that done, I jumped right into it. Made like fucking 100 animations of that bitch within the first year. Even more, probably. I was like, I couldn't be stopped, and it was great. So, but that's where I come with it comes to private models, because right after that, you get the people who are like, hey, can I have it? And this is where it got complicated for me, because on one hand, I do believe that people should be able to use what they want. But on the other, this was a private model made for me by a friend. So, I was thinking, you know what? Not public, just gonna allow people I know to use it, people I trust. But, as time grew, and I did, I started getting money from commissions, and with this commission money, I started to get more models. Models that I pay for myself. I learned to rig them up. Still don't weight paint because that shit gives me cancer, but I got more and more models, and with more and more models came more and more people asking for it. And, holy shit. There is nothing more annoying than having a giant ask on your damn Tumblr blog saying, hey, do you give out your models? And me having to say, no, all my models are private at the moment. I may release them in the future, but as of right now, I don't. Please do not ask me about it. And then, every single day, I get 1 or 2 asks for my models, without question. And I want to tell people because I'm sure that many of them just don't realize. Maybe it gets buried under all the other stuff I post. But it gets to a point where the fact that people don't even go on my page and look at the giant FAQ that says, hey, please don't ask for my shit, it just gets bothersome at this point. But when it comes to that, I also feel like I sort of have myself to blame, because, like, when it comes to 3D animation, everyone wants to be able to do anything they can, but unlike art and drawing and stuff like that, your mind isn't the only inhibitor. It's your tools. So people, they don't come with any ill intention. They just want to be able to make stuff just like I did. But when it comes down to it, I see these people, it's probably not what they even mean to come off as. But when they come to my page and just be like, yo, give me your models, they don't bother to talk to me, they don't want to say hello, they don't want to form a friendship, I'm just nothing but a model dispenser to them, that's when it gets on my nerves. And
yeah, you become a catalyst for just
exactly.
material.
Like, in fact, anybody in the 3D scene who has private models can contest to this. So many people come around, they're like, hey, give me your models, and you're like, no, and they're like, well, it was a fucking mistake coming here, I knew you never would have done this. Like,
It's not exclusive to the modeling scene either. Like, there's people that will intentionally go out of the way to consume artwork or just anything in particular in a way that doesn't support you at all.
Yeah.
And if you so much as question the motivation, they're just like, well, fuck
Yeah.
you. Like, I'm just here to find something to jerk my gherkin
Yeah,
to.
you mean like those fuckers who just come up and be like, hey, hello there, I would like you to make this for free. If you do not do it, I will be sad. Do you not want to make it?
Or tailor this content to my interest, even though I'm not your audience. That really pisses me off. It's like, no one asked you. You're not, like, in any way involved with the subject matter. Can you just fuck off?
Like,
if it's not for you, wait until we do make something for you, or be palatable enough as a supporter that we want to make content
Yeah.
for you. Don't just demand
Dude,
it. That's how you put
I
someone
got a
off.
fucking story about that kind of shit right now. This has been happening on and off for the past couple months, and I have no idea why. But I will make something like, let's say, people are like, yo, dude, you should make more gay content. But yesterday I literally, like, made some dude getting his butt fucked. And then people are like, you should stop making more gay content, you need more straight content. It's like,
Why are you making straight content? Where's the gay? Oh, you're giving us too much gay. Where's the Barra content? Where's the Twinkie
yeah,
boys?
exactly.
Like,
That's exactly what it fucking is, dude. Because like this shit doesn't even happen like far off between. I'll make some dude sucking a dick, and the next day someone will be like, "Hey man, where's all the gay content?" Like, holy shit, I make works.
you call sucking dick
Yeah, it's
gay?
like,
You could be gayer
even
than
when
that,
I
man. What a
make-
disgrace. Spit on you, how that's not gay.
But even when I make so much fucking content and I put my heart and soul into everything, straight, gay, bi, not usually beast, because that isn't my stuff. But either way, I hit so many things because I enjoy them. But it's never enough for some people, and I really struggle to hold myself back and being like, hey dude, have you thought about like eating bullets for breakfast? Because holy shit, I can get so angry sometimes, but
And
Yeah.
the sad thing is that you could be the most patient motherfucker for years on end, but if you break a single time, they'll use it against you for the rest of your
Exactly.
career. So if you lose your patience just once, like, whoa, what? You know, all these things you've said or done in the last 3 years, what about this one time that you lost your
exactly.
patience?
Like I had a mini episode of that, I guess. I'm in college and one of my fucking, well, it's Ontario College. People, this is, I guess, free to give out. But basically, for the last half a year, Ontario colleges have been entirely fucked up. They decided to, like, completely strike for about a month and a half. That fucked up a semester. Luckily, I wasn't in it. But the semester I went into was also fucked up by that, and the teachers just didn't care, or they didn't have enough time to present or prepare for anything. So this one teacher gave me a final assignment. He's just like, just do this, and I did, and I like nearly fucking failed it, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck is this shit? Because everybody else in my class, they literally did not care, because no one in the class did. It was a mess. No one cared. But I always try to put my best foot forward in everything I can. So when I did hand it in, I'm like, you know what? At least I'm gonna end with a good mark. Nope. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Fuck this. I vented on Twitter a bit, but I made the mistake of saying the word faggot as an insult. So people were, people were like, oh man, that's so evil. And it's like, I'm not ignorant. I understand.
That's not politically correct. How dare you?
Like
You're not in support of
As much
gays.
of a-
Your content doesn't mean anything.
As much of a pussy as this
shit.
will sound, I don't want to offend people that aren't meant to be offended when I talk shit online. But at the same time, I was raised with fucking Counter-Strike's 1.6. We said a lot worse shit than that, so like, having people get upset at words like this, it's not so much of a new concept, it's just more of something I need to be more mindful of. Because, like I said...
And it kind of gives off the vibe, too, is that they're not really offended by the language. They're more offended, like, I don't know what it is, but it just kind of gives you the kind of impression that there's a deeper kind of seated issue there beyond the name.
One of the people actually commented respectfully about it, said like, hey man, I would appreciate if you didn't use that word, because back in my day I was like assaulted for it. I'm like, yeah man, I didn't mean to like specifically attack you or anything. It's just a word I'm used to as being an insult. But on the other hand, there was some guy who's like, hey man, you shouldn't say that word, that's not cool, and you should apologize right now. So, I mean, I did apologize, but it was kind of a passive-aggressive one. And I said, hey man, I'm sorry that the words offends you. And he got so pissed, and I'm like, I don't know if I made it better or worse. But, yeah. Because I only started this, like, a year and a half ago, having an audience and people that I need to... Well, having eyes on me is something that's still new. I gotta make sure that I don't accidentally completely fuck myself over by saying the wrong thing. So,
I mean, like a lot of popular people in the fandom or just in general don't really choose to be so.
Yeah.
They just so happen to have traits that people tend to flock to.
Yeah.
So you often get these people that are in positions of like pseudo power, I guess, in like a popular sense, that have no idea how to handle it. So you might get people that use it for sexual benefit or just financial benefits, and some people might just want to be genuine, but because they are now on a platform, any minute thing they do is going to be scrutinized to the 10th degree. So for instance, you could be doing the same kind of shit talking anyone else would do. And if anyone else does it, it's completely fine, but because you have a platform, now you're the problem. You're the setting stone for all the people they wanted to like have ever called them that name before, now that's you kind of deal.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And sadly, when it comes to like words like faggot and stuff like that, I'm going to say it because it's just a word. It's the context that makes it offensive. Just saying faggot doesn't mean anything. It's if you try and label something like the classical definition that people get offended by right now is the term that is related to like homosexuality. And I feel that in terms of faggot, it's one of those words that is slowly turning into more of just a generic insult.
Yeah.
People aren't really like associating it with sexuality anymore, not for a while too. Like people just call people faggots because they're annoying, or they're jerks, or they're kind of being irritating.
That's where my thing comes
from. And I personally, and I feel like that's personally a good way to take it, because if you restrict words into only being pocketed for their sexual or racial like origins, then they will never evolve. Like faggot was never always associated with homosexuality. It used to just mean, you know, bag of sticks at one stage, and before that it just means like, you know, it was just a derogatory term like any other.
But you hit on something I want to mention a little bit ago. You talked about how people now have a platform when they have eyes on them. That's something that I'm really worried about too, because I don't want to change into something that I'm not. Because you always hear, I guess, stories of people, they came from nothing, or they were born into something and they let the popularity go to their head. They became like different. One thing that I worry about when it comes to this stuff is, well, that specifically, because I'm speaking as someone, once again, who came from nothing and became something just because I felt like it. I've noticed people interact with me differently, both positively and negatively. Like, I'll take different artists, for example. Hell, even you. I just came out of nowhere, and now people want to talk to me, and I can talk to them without having to worry about, hey, are they thinking this guy's coming out of nowhere, just wanting to say hello, be annoying, and then never come back? Whereas before, I would always have to like tiptoe around. I need to carefully look at what these people they like, ease them on. But now I can just be like, oh, hey dude, what's up? Having a nice day? How things going for you? And they'll respond back, and we'll be chums instantly. So
See, that's a weird thing, because I actually still feel that way. I still feel pressured that I can't contact someone that I respect unless I have something worthy to present to them.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So it has to be a collaboration, or a business opportunity, or something that gives them exposure, or something along those lines that benefits them. Otherwise, I don't feel it's worthy.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's... Before I got into art myself, that was my biggest fear when it came to talking to people. Because, well, straight up, I have actual diagnosed paranoia from a bunch of things that happen. So it's probably just my mindset, but I always worried that if I talk to these people and they potentially have anything that they could give to me, they would instantly believe that I was trying to get that from them with nothing in return. Which is really funny when you come to it, because actually most of my best friends came from me before I was actually an artist. I'm like, okay, I've noticed these people, I've seen them talk around, they're very nice, I should get to talk to them, but how exactly would I go to do that? But I took the leap, just said hello, asked them about their interest, we had a great conversation, and now we're talking. So, it was great. But at the same time, I still kind of feel that, just not as much. Like, I know exactly what you're going through and stuff. It's difficult to overcome, and I still have it in a way. Because there are a lot of people out there who I admire. I see what they do, it's really interesting to me. I want to ask them about it. But at the same time, I always feel like if I come out of nowhere, it's going to be odd. Like having someone on the street just be like, hey dude, hello, how are you doing? What is this? I feel... personally, to me, that as I continue to get myself out there, it'll be a little less difficult because I'll have a name to put behind stuff, and hopefully a good trail for that, so people will ease up, I suppose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like from personal experience, one of the most difficult questions to respond to, and you think it'd be so obvious, is when someone says, hey, how are you doing? It's because after a certain amount of time, you've replied the same way so many times to so many different people, that you feel like they are relying on you to lead the conversation, and that is a dead end. So like I feel like when I have to contact people, I have to be charged in a way that is somewhat unique to kind of like make it interesting for them. So they go, oh, I can think differently about this circumstance. Okay, now I can reply and be entertained by this
that's the
conversation.
exact same way for me, dude. You have no idea. Actually, you do. But the point is, like, when it comes to things like this, I'm also worried of how other people will come to me. Because now that I have something to give, of course there are people who can come out of nowhere and be like, hey, I'm your chum only to get stuff from you. Like, that comes with models. A few people have tried to do that, and it's painful, honestly, to think that, hey, this guy wants to be your friend, but no, he actually just wants shit from you. And along with that, there's also the people who come up to me but are full of spaghetti. You know the ones. They're like, hello, and then they don't say anything afterwards. You say hi back, they're like, how was your day? It's like, I know they want the best. They want to have a good conversation, and I do too. But at the same time, I have to not interact with people unless they really have anything to say, like, hey, how's it going? Just a simple hi or hello. I don't interact with that stuff, and in a way it makes me feel bad.
Yeah. Well, no, you shouldn't, because my line is, if it's spaghetti, always regret. So, like, if they come to you and there's a lot of anxiety coming from that hello, and, like, they seem to be seeking validation from your reply, don't give it to them, because they shouldn't be seeking that from you. They should be coming to you already, like, approving of themselves. They shouldn't be getting it from their idol or their peer. There's nothing I can do for them to improve their situation. I just make content.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You shouldn't be trying to get more out of it than that.
Yeah. But that's when it comes with that stuff, though, you know, because, like, I'm unfortunately a bleeding heart. You saw some of the drama I was going with a few days ago. But no matter what people do or say, I always try to look for the best in them. So, like, when somebody comes up, it's sort of like, I don't know, they're awkward, maybe they're a bit abrasive, I still try to go through with it. That's an issue that I have with some commissioners as well. They're too into it, or they don't really understand how the program works. I should be more forward and be like, look man, I can do this, I can't do this, I can do that, you can't do that, stuff like that. And I just worry that I'm going to let someone push me around too much when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah. There's nothing more frustrating when the biggest critique of your work is something that literally isn't possible within the realms of the software.
Absolutely. Like, oh dude, so many people come to me like, hey man, why don't you do come in SFM? And it's like, because it's really fucking difficult to get well. I haven't had much practice doing anything outside of the particles that it gives you, and SFM isn't built for particles because how old.
Yeah, like I've seen the default particles in they look terrible. Like, it's better off just not using them. It actually downgrades the end product if you include them.
You have to have a very specific, I guess, situation where it can look good. I found that it has to be, like, going towards the camera, not being able to interact with anything unless it's a map, because for some reason, maps are solid, while props are not. I have no idea what that...
Anyway, yeah, sorry everyone, we just had some quick Cuckshack technical difficulties. Where were we before we dropped out?
Fuck. I shouldn't have rambled. Anyway,
Did you ramble when we're completely disconnected the whole time?
Well, no, because I thought you disconnected on your side, so I'm like, oh, his internet does that sometimes. Time to ramble. And I started talking about, like, how people are fucking with me recently and stuff like that. So I guess we can talk about that then.
Yeah, just go back on that tangent. That's probably a good place to reconvene.
Okay, so essentially, I don't know why. I'm just sort of unlucky recently. I don't really have much issue with people I don't know fucking with me. Like, they can call my work shit, they can tell me how it's better and stuff like that. I won't really mind, because maybe they're right, maybe they aren't. But the big issue that I have is when people that I care about are the ones who fuck with me. And unfortunately, I have a long history of that happening everywhere I go. So, recently, I'm not gonna name names or really say what it was, because it could easily have just been my paranoia acting up and me taking something out of context. So I don't want to talk shit about people who didn't actually do anything wrong. But let's just say a group of friends of mine did something that I wasn't really okay with. Someone I bought a model from was saying some things. And I was like, I disagree with this. I can understand some of his point, but he hammered it in the wrong way. and one that was kind of painful to me. So I talked to my friends about it, and they all agree with his point, both of the points, the one that hurt and the one that didn't. So I keep trying to talk about how, no guys, I understand the first point, I agree with that, I'll start doing that if people want, no problem. But the second thing they mentioned, it revolved around my work, and it really fucking hurt. Like I said, I can't go into it because if they do watch this, I don't want them coming to be like, hey bro, what the fuck's wrong with you? Because that will even make the situation worse. But they just, once again, I don't know if they meant to be rude about it, but to me, animation is finally something that I believe I'm really good at and that I have a future with. Besides what I'm going to for college, that is. It's something that people have seemed to enjoy, and people have seemed to, well, they get something from. I've seen a lot of people being like, hey, your stuff, I love seeing it. Every time I see it, it puts a smile on my face. And hearing stuff like that is like the biggest ego boost for me, and in the good way. The fact that people are saying that they like something I do, it makes me really happy. So when I hear...
I mean, that's half the motivation. Like, you could take away the money sometimes, and if you were supported in any other fashion, you'd probably still do
exactly. Like,
just for
even
that.
if I didn't get any commissions at all, I'd still animate, because I enjoy doing it. Anyway, though. So yeah, the people said that stuff, and it honestly completely fucking crippled my spirit. Because it made me believe in a way that the people I don't know are the only ones who like my stuff. And it's kind of like when you're looking on the outside in, you see what you want, but you can't get it. And one thing that I unfortunately really want is approval from people I care about. So when I get the exact opposite, it kind of fucks me up. And if people see my Twitter account from a few days ago, that's where that came from. So, either way. Yeah, shit's messed up, but I don't really know where I'm going with this other than it's getting better.
No, there's a lot of weight to that. Like, I have a similar stance in which that opinions, a lot of what weight comes from the opinions depends on the respect of the individual. So if someone's coming to your work very emotionally charged, they're there to attack you. When they do attack you and they critique your, like, it often not even is a critique, it's just an insult. Mm-hmm. When they insult your content and your creation, it doesn't really penetrate because you know that they're only there to piss you off. So you can kind of just shrub it off. Yeah. But when someone, like you said, is someone that you respect, so like a friend or just a colleague or someone, an idol, a source of inspiration comes and say, your work is shit, that penetrates much deeper. So fortunately that doesn't happen too frequently, but when it does, so for instance your close friend network, that punches you really hard in the gut.
Yeah. But when it comes to psychology, I really wonder what the cause of that is, because I have a lot more people saying that they do like my stuff than I do people saying they don't. So how come, how come, like, things like that, just a small little, hey, your stuff is great, and it just keeps building up and building up, but a single, hey, your stuff ain't so great, and it all just comes crashing down. I wonder what causes stuff like that.
It's kind of like how the eye, if it focuses on one point too long, it starts to fatigue everything around that center of focus. We see so many compliments on our feed. It might be 90% compliments, that the one outlier that says it's shit, that's the one that sticks around because it's the outlier. It's the one sticking out from the crowd. It's the one on the soapbox.
Oh, yeah.
So that one opinion is going to fester above all else, even if the majority of your audience is nothing but supportive and just wants to see you succeed. The one detriment is the one that gets all the attention.
That's just that. Speaking of audience, though, that brings it up too, because another thing I'm worried about when it goes back to me hopefully not becoming a shithead is when you are surrounded by people who like your stuff, many of them begin to agree with what you think.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that so much. Like, I do not want people to pat me on the back and just lick my butt. Like, there's enough of that behavior on Twitter where people intentionally exclude opinions and thought processes that aren't in parallel with their own and just kind of constantly just regurgitate shit at each other, and it just gets really unhealthy. Yeah. You need that kind of discord of lots of different, like, political standings and opinions and tastes and interests, because it keeps you in balance.
But that's...
So when people, like, sorry to interject, like, so when people come to me, it's like, oh, how can you be friends with Rags or Zorsh or all these colorful characters? It's like, because I want to be colorful myself. I don't want to just be like a stereotypical left-winging like person that just does the same shit. I want to be my own person, and that involves knowing every single picture and getting to know everyone as humans. I want to humanize every single person I can, so I can try and get an idea of why they think this way. Like, sure, you might disagree with them in some respects, but why? Like, why are they so invested in these feelings? And if I can understand that, that puts my own into better perspective.
No, you're entirely right. Because that's where something... Actually, I can talk about this. Considering I was not really part of any big furry community or anything before, I heard lots of different stuff about lots of different people. Of course, yourself included. But I decided that I don't want to really make an idea of who they are until I met them. Because, for instance, well, you obviously know all the stuff that gets said about you. So, when you came to me, I'm like, the best thing to do is not act like a fucking asshole to you. Just because people say things about you doesn't mean they're true. And when I tell this to people, they don't believe me. Because, of course, like, when I made this stuff of Verge, everyone was like, what the fuck? How could you talk to this guy? How could you make something for him? And I'm like, have you talked to him? Like...
Yeah, that's the sad reality, is that all these haters are like, have you ever even met or had an exchange with this person where you did not come at them charged emotionally in an aggressive manner?
Absolutely,
Ever.
like, because that's...
Have you tried being respectful to this individual?
And that's what I was also worried about, because, like, you're a decent person. You've been decent to me and everybody that I've seen you interact with, or at least personally. And the people that... my friends, they don't think the same. And that's something that bothers me, because when I made the Verge shit, everyone got mad. Like, this isn't just random people. It was people that I care about, and I'm like, okay, first off, guys, what fucking problem do you have that I'm making stuff for somebody that I guess you don't like? And second, why would they go out of the way to shit on my stuff because it involves someone they don't like? That got me really thinking a few weeks back, or months back, I guess now.
And then the third question is, why do you not like them?
Exactly.
Which is a lot of people don't want to confront, because then it comes out that they're just regurgitating shit that they've heard online, and then when you trace that down, it's from nothing.
Like, that actually comes back. I unfortunately let myself falter a little bit ago. I'm not gonna go into who this was or who I did it about, but there was some drama going on a few weeks back, and luckily I was smart enough not to name them in my post, but I asked a question about, like, how could this happen, why would someone do this, and then it looked like it came out. Of course I'm gonna say looked, because everything is up in the air, and I'm not making a decision either way, but if I'm wrong, I almost dragged someone's name through the mud based on hearsay and something that was actually false. And that's why I realized that I shouldn't do shit like this. Of course, it's good to ask questions, but you should never really go out of your way to say this person is evil based on stuff you've read.
Yeah, like, always be skeptical. That's a very good trait to have, but never make a firm statement if you don't have anything concrete to back it up.
Exactly.
That's in part why, like, I started out with skepticism on my own feed, and then once I wasn't sure anymore, like, once it got muddy, I had to take it down.
Exactly.
Because, like, I can't be confident with this. It's too wishy-washy.
Yeah.
So therefore, I shouldn't make opinion at all.
Like, that's, like I said, something that really fucks me up in the head. I don't want to fall into judgmentalism, or if that's the word. I don't want to become the kind of guy who sees something that's like, wow, this is fucked up. Like, oh, hey, John down the road, he fucking, he supports child porn. Why does he support child porn? Because some fucker, Samantha down the road said so. Like, there's so many, not even in just this community, but everywhere. Whether it be from my college, my workspace, this community, the internet as a whole, even politics. Everything is just talk. No one actually has any facts or proof of anything.
And what are they accomplishing besides just hurting the community as a whole? Like, it's all about divide. Like, single out all the popular people, and then what do? You lose those people from the community. I'm like, that was the big thing that shook me a couple of episodes ago. I just came out of this out of the blue. I think it was in Zosh's episode. I'm like, Why am I in the top 3 on FA? Why? Like, I'm not even that special. I'm just a run-of-the-mill creator, and I think, well, I feel like once people hit a certain threshold, they want to leave. Because it gets too fucking toxic.
Oh, yeah.
They move on to greener pastures, to better communities that aren't so stunted in their growth, where people just like, oh, you're too good for us now, fuck off.
Like, if I may talk about that a bit, I think I understand why people talk about you the way they do. And it's by no means your fault. The issue that people have is they don't realize that since, well, maybe they do realize it, but you're someone with a voice and a presence now. Or you have been for a while. So the moment you say anything that's out of line with what they believe is true, they come after you. Like, you see all those things. Like, I don't really have any example off the top of my head because I have no idea what is and what isn't true. But people take you saying one thing and they're like, oh fuck, this guy's evil, he's an asshole. But you might have actually just been responding to someone like being, hey, your stuff's shit. The fact that people even watch you is retarded. Anybody who does should kill themselves. And let's say you responded like, dude, you're a fucking asshole. What's wrong with you? People are like, oh...
And then they'll take a snapshot of, you're an asshole. And like, oh, look at this poor victim being bullied by this popular figure. Let's tear them down.
Exactly. Like, I don't understand... Well, I do. I think I do. Hot take here. But I think it all stems from a single person every time. Someone who doesn't like this person for whatever reason, because God knows you don't actually need a reason to hate someone these days. They see an opportunity, and they spread it like wildfire, add their own things. They're just like, oh shit, this guy said something, may or may not be fucked up, let's go. Posse, boom. Out of nowhere, there's a hate mob, there's riots, there's a fucking pitchfork with your face on it. Just because one guy decided that he wanted to fuck with you today. And
that's how easy it is, sadly. Yeah. Like, if you look at all top 10 figures in the community, popularity related, all of them have drama surrounding them. Varying levels of truth, but most of it is just the same kind of like surface level stuff. Oh, this person slept with this person, or this person like is a cuck, or this person sleeps around, and this person's into this fetish which we don't approve of, or this person's just an asshole.
I'm gonna sound like...
And that becomes the identity.
I'm gonna sound like such a fucking hypocrite for a second, but I absolutely love drama when it isn't related to me. Because holy shit, just reading all this shit that goes back and forth, and it's like, oh, this shit's crazy, you don't know what's real and what isn't. Of course, it's probably like fucked up to enjoy it, because it's not so funny when it happens to people you know. But I don't know, man. So I think that's...
I can't enjoy it because like I know that there's people, like I know how this like community works, and I know that people don't get popular unless they work really hard for it. They put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get into that position, and then all it takes is just a little bit of Twitter drama to just smear it all out the window. It's honestly disgusting to me. So anyone's like, hey, look at this juicy gospel, I'm like, no thanks.
Like, I think what I have, or what I was just talking about, is where it actually comes from. Because people see it, and they're instantly like, oh fuck, drama, let's go, overtime, boom, boom, boom. Comes out of nowhere, and that's just what people want to see. They want to believe that something's true, and they want to get enjoyment out of it.
People love a straw man. That's why they often whittle people down into Nazis or like transphobic or like all these labels. They love labels because it helps dehumanize. The more you can dehumanize a target, the easier it is to attack them.
Yeah, dude, don't fucking get me started on these goddamn labels, eh? Like, holy shit. I do my best to avoid politics on my main account because, of course, nobody cares about it. Nobody's there for that. But, man... just, like, the one time I decided to speak out about something that I disagreed with, they were like, are you a Nazi, racist, sexist, homophobe? And I'm like, holy fuck, how many things can you put me into for just saying something?
And if you say no, that means yes, because God forbid you can know what your own opinions are. Let me tell you what your opinions are.
Yeah.
You hate females and you hate this.
Yeah. And of course, though, like, fucking, that's where they get you, too. Because... I don't know if this ever worked, but people could be like, hey, you're a fucking homophobe for saying faggot, you know? But then I could be like, you realize I've had dick in my ass, right? And they're like, what are you, some kind of fucking homophobe? It's like they don't care. You could have a literal like fucking hammer and sickle on your chest, and you say you'll support Trump, and you're automatically a Nazi. Like
I'm like as far left as you can get, and I'm a Nazi apparently, and I hate trans people, even though my girlfriend has a binder and a packing penis and stuff like that. I have a gay character, but I am homophobic. Like, it's so stupid. But sadly, that's what you gotta think. It's like, don't acknowledge these people. They're literally just trying to villainize you. Don't even try.
Yeah.
They are not there to listen at all. Don't even bother.
shit like that's weird. I don't know where it comes from, or I just hope it doesn't stay this long, because I mean, honestly, I wasn't paying much more attention except for the past, like... This is gonna sound stupid, but when Gamergate started... Anybody who remembers that, that's when I really started paying attention to these kind of things. And before that, maybe it's because I wasn't paying attention, but I didn't see any of this. No one was like, hey, you're an X because of Y. You're a Z because of H. Just, you are this, you are that. These are all things that you should not be. Die. Like hell.
See, the one healthy thing to keep in mind, so this isn't all pessimistic, is that for every vocal person there is 10 to 20 people that don't say anything but support you. Because, like, if it was true that the whole community was toxic, we wouldn't be making money.
Exactly.
We wouldn't be having artwork, because we would just die. We'd die out. So for every single person that, for instance, tries to bully my fiance into not drawing comics because they have themes that they don't like, well, then why is it making more income now and has more supports and readers than it's ever had in her entire career? Mm-hmm. That's the kind of shit you need to focus on. For every outlier that you do have that talks shit on you,
yeah,
or the things you create,
yeah,
just try. Like, I know it's hard because of the whole like desensitized,
No, I respect that, because like,
yeah, the eye laziness kind of thing where you kind of like tune out the positivity, but the overwhelming rational opinion and like direction is that people like it. So don't listen to the outliers, no matter how loud they might scream that you're this, that, or whatever.
Yeah, because that's what the thing is, like, everybody paints the world to be super bad and shit like that, but it's only because it's the bad shit that's loud. For instance, like, without drama, the furry community is like fucking hundreds of thousands, maybe even fucking millions of people making art, enjoying art, talking about stuff they like, hell, even going to cons talking to each other. I've never been to a con like that myself or anything, but the fact that people can get together and enjoy each other, their company, their work, everything like that, just because they do something that each other likes, that's impressive. So, it's just... that's when it comes to the drama and stuff, you know? It comes and goes, but it will always have its mark because of how loud it is. We need to, I guess we gotta find something that's louder than the drama, some positive drama. Like fucking...
You know what's louder than the drama? It's the popular people, the people with power. That's why they're so scary. People like you and me are threatening to these ideologies. That's why they go on the attack. Yeah. The healthiest thing for the community is just to have more people that are willing to stand up against it and say, no, that's not what this community represents. I'm here because this community represents freedom of expression and being anyone you want to be without scrutiny. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't step on anyone else's feet, you should be able to express yourself in absolutely any way that you want, whether it be gay, straight, fucking rainbow sexual, I don't give a shit. Be whatever you want to be, and like, don't let anyone tell you otherwise. That's how it should be. So when people are trying to come to me and tell me that I can't do that, I can't create, my fiance can't recreate, we can't do this, we can't do that, I just tell them to eat my ass.
And then, of course, you saying that, people are like, oh, fucking asshole, look at this guy. It's a weird cycle, you know? People want something to happen, they get the response that they deserve, but then they twist it into some weird thing. Ah, well. I believe that things will be better as it comes up, because anybody who does actually... like, any drama that actually has something behind it, like, oh, this person, like, did some really illegal shit, they'll get put away. It's that simple.
That's why I keep telling people, it's like, why are you wasting your time on Twitter? If this person did something nefarious, contact the authorities, it'll be sorted out in a month. And they'd be off Twitter.
Exactly.
So when you see people that have drama sticking around them for a decade, like 10 fucking years, about the same dumb thing, and nothing has happened, just give it a rest. It's obviously not true, otherwise something would have happened by now.
But of course, we're starting to get into the age of guilty until proven innocent, so hopefully we get out of that really soon. Because, damn.
I think it's a lot to do with maturity. I think a lot of people project their own insecurities on others, especially popular figures, because it's things that they don't want to battle themselves. So when a trans person comes up to you and for no reason whatsoever calls you transphobic, it's their insecurity. It's like, dude, if you just come to me, or she, sorry,
Yeah.
if you just come up to me and tell me your vulnerabilities and say, hey, like, I like your content, but X, Y, Z, like, could you be a little bit more sensitive in this regard? I'd do it, because then I can empathize with that person, because they're not being a dick.
Exactly.
If they come up to me and just attack me and call me a piece of shit, why the fuck would I support you? You're not, you know, it's mutual respect no matter what you are.
Yeah. Like, I have opinions for certain things, but no matter who anybody is, no matter what they are, no matter what they look like, no matter what they say, if they're good to me, I'll be good to them. But I don't want anybody to believe that because they're something, I owe them that. I don't want anyone to be like, hey dude, I'm really gay, I only want you to make gay stuff. You can fucking miss me with that shit, bro. If you ask nicely, I'll make more, I'll get an idea. If you come to me like I'm some fucking dispenser that you just punch until it like gives you some free fucking drink, I'm sorry dude, but you get no respect from me. Maybe it's...
It really bothered me when a certain group of fans of our comic turned on the comic because it turned straight at the end of an otherwise gay comic. So for about 50 pages it was gay. We had on the front cover a straight character that was the primary villain, and the villain gets like a scene with the main character at the end of it, and that's how it kind of climaxes.
Yeah, I know all about that.
And,
it's really fucked up.
Yeah, and sadly, as a result, they tried to stop us creating for 2 years since. Every single upload, they try to complain, derail, cause drama, spread smearing campaigns, make AD articles, all of that, all because we had the audacity to mix preferences in a comic.
Yeah, that's what's really fucked up. Like, I don't understand what people wanted when it came to that. Because this is before I knew you, and even I knew it was dumb back then. Because, like, sure, the comic went from dicks and butt to dicks and pussy. But who fucking cares? It's art. You don't like it, just go back to the ones that are already there. You guys aren't stopping.
Yeah, and like the easiest way to get more of that content is say, hey, I love the gay part. Could you do a part 2 and focus on those characters again? That's the way to do it. You don't just say, you don't just start fucking lying and saying, oh, well, they're in an abusive relationship. He probably beats his fiance and she fucks dogs and they make too much money and they're ripping people off. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
You really
think that is
shit?
a way to get us to make you more content? We're just going to go elsewhere.
Did they really say that shit to you guys because of a comic?
Yes, like this went on for years. Like we tried not saying anything for a full year, didn't make it any better, made it worse actually. We tried moderation, the mods got fatigued, so we just kind of nuked it. We said, fuck it. We'll just stick with the people that don't shit on our stuff 24/7.
Yeah, Jesus.
It's not worth it. For what, 30% more traffic? We don't need it. Like, I'd rather just have the lack of stress. Those people can just eat my ass. I'm just going to make people content for people that actually appreciate it.
Yeah, fuck, dude. I can't even imagine that kind of shit. Because, like, well, I don't want to get my, I guess, real life connected to this at all. Because I just worry what can come with it. So having you guys, your actual life, what I guess, fucked with in the terms of all these untrue facts and stuff like that, I don't know. I would never want that for me, no matter what. So the fact that you guys had to deal with that shit for so long, damn.
The sad reality is it's probably inevitable. If you're someone that thinks for yourself and you have the audacity to create, you have to be prepared to offend. That's the only way that you have identity, is to be an outlier, and that means that you're going to step on toes. Not intentionally, but just the sheer fact that you're making content for different subsets of people will not like that.
We'll see how it goes. I still have
like,
lots
sadly,
of stuff
what's the last big name that you are familiar of that played it safe, that didn't make content that kind of pushed the boundaries a little bit?
Fuck, dude.
So, for instance, someone in FA that is in the top 10 that makes exclusively, like, consentful straight artwork.
Jeez. You know, it's funny. I was actually gonna say Wolfie Nail, but then I realized, like, every single one of his things was, like, forced in some way, so everybody got mad at them no matter what.
Oh yeah, he got so much drama for, like, quote-unquote rapey artwork. And, like, the sad thing is, Wolfie Nail isn't active anymore.
Yeah,
he hasn't really posted in a year, and that's kind of like the philosophy. That's kind of the thing that I'm fulfilling, is where I'm starting to grow concerned that will be me eventually, where I get burnt out and I'm not a furry anymore. I don't want that to happen.
Oh yeah. You see, that's actually something else that came about because the first real drama that I knew of him that was obviously bullshit was, you guys probably remember of it, but he did a commission for someone who recently lost a friend of theirs, and well, there was nothing lewd about it, but it was just in his style. It just looked like his stuff. And people absolutely shit all over the commissioner and him, like, why the fuck would you commission this porn artist for some sad artwork? What the fuck's wrong with you? And I'm just thinking, this person was clearly sad over the fact that their friend died, and I would assume that they both liked the artist. So they gave him some work. He's like, sure, I'll do it. And they got what they wanted. And these people come out of the woodwork to, like, make them feel bad for it? Man, I don't even want to imagine how that would have felt for either of the parties.
They don't even care about the person at that point. It's all about elevating themselves. They find an easy target, and they attack.
Yeah.
They're not doing it for the person at all. It's really sad, to be honest. Like, when I think of all these bandwagon pitchforking shit, it's like, what is the end goal? Like, what are they trying to achieve there? Because it's certainly not expression, it's not creating, it's not boosting the community, it's not making it easier for people to be comfortable in their own skin. If anything, anyone that I talk to that is becoming popular is completely terrified of the online climate.
Oh yeah.
They feel that if they step out of line even the smallest bit, make one mistake, that they'll be villainized. And it's true. It is true. Like, you have to be very careful with what you create. It's just how it is.
Mm-hmm. Because that comes back to what I said earlier. Of course, now I'm walking on eggshells, gonna make sure I don't see this, don't want to do that. Like, oh man. Because I live in a politically charged environment, considering it's a campus and stuff, I do want my voice to be heard when it comes to certain things. So, oh man, I fucking rue the day that I let my tongue slip on Tumblr or Twitter or any of that shit. I'm gonna be fucking crucified like Jesus. It's gonna be messed up. But,
well, if that day comes, at least you know that all the people that are right in their head and are not doing it just to step on people are going to support you, and that's what matters. You won't lose your business, you won't lose your following, you won't lose anything but the toxic people that were attacking you just to attack in the first place. So honestly, if the day comes in which you're really offensive, just let them go. They're not people that were there for you in the first place, so why appease them?
well, honestly, I don't actually think that day will come, because I specifically, if I know I'm going to do something like this, I do my best to make it as least offensive as possible. Because, like, I had a whole triad about net neutrality when it was a big thing, because every single other fucking post on Tumblr was someone like, if you don't support net neutrality, they're gonna make it so you have to fucking pay to go on Twitter. And I'm like, no guys, that's not what's gonna happen. And I tried to be as civil about it as possible, but I still got hate from it. But in my eyes, at least I was like, I understand why people don't like it, I disagree, blah blah blah. And I wasn't like, if you agree with this, you're a fucking idiot and you should jump off a bridge. Because that's something that I've known. Lots of people, when it comes to their opinions, they're too strong on them. It's always fine to have conviction, but when you're a stone wall and you just let people punch you all day, it doesn't work out for anybody.
What happens is that people use an attack on their opinion as an attack on them.
Exactly.
And that's why it gets so dangerous, because when would anyone stop defending themselves?
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't. So if their opinions get too close to their emotions, that's what happens. So like, what people really need to do is make a separation from your interest in like your political stuff from yourself, because that's the best way that you can actually hold a discord. You start listening to people.
Yeah, exactly. Oh well, lots of stuff going on, but I think it's all going up for the better. I'm doing my best to improve every single day when it comes to my stuff. Of course, there's some better and not. Because that's a weird thing. Back on my actual work after like a fucking hour of not that. But, yeah. It comes from... I just try my best when it comes to things. I learn what I can. But because I'm completely self-taught, I, of course, have some bad marks here and there. Things I need to improve on, and I try my best. But when it comes to how fast I work, it always makes me wonder if because I'm so fast, I'm missing things. Because I don't cut corners or anything like that. I go back and forth, look at stuff, make sure it's there. Of course, because I make the mistake of like just posting it the moment I render it, I'll usually miss something, like maybe there's some small clipping in a finger I didn't look. But of course, I'm not really going for perfectionist. I'm going for something that is something that I enjoy looking at and that I hope other people will too.
You're trying to optimize efficiency because anyone can constantly recheck a piece of artwork over and over and over again for the small flaws, but then you turn something that could be 3 or 4 pieces into one. So like, instead of posting 2 or 3 times a day or multiple times a week, you could procrastinate all week on one pic, and that's what a lot of people do. That's why they only end up uploading a few times a year.
And that's real talk for a second here. What's the point of fixing something like a small clipping on the finger when everybody actually just wants to see the ass? Like,
yeah, I feel like at that point you're just trying to find things to be upset about, and that's not constructive at that point.
Like, I'm just gonna say, a lot of the SFM and animator people I know, they love tearing apart animators they don't know. And they will find the smallest detail, and they'll be like, oh, this is fucked up. Like, the entire thing could be fucking amazing, but there's one issue they'll be like, oh, that's messed up right there, dude. And it's just, come on, guys. No one's looking at this fucking animation to look at the fact that, like, the hair slightly clips in the face. No one's looking there.
This is a spicy topic that you'll probably groan at when I mention it. How do you feel when people come to your animation work and say that it's not on par and it's not even on the same realm as making models, rigging, or artwork, or etc., where it's only like, say, 20 to 30% of the value of anything else? How does that make you feel?
You knew what you were doing with that one. Yeah, well, real talk, since we're on it, that is what I was pissed off about earlier. Because when the person who said this to me, I'm just gonna straight up say, I bought a model from them at one point. And the one thing they asked for is that anytime you use it, credit the model. And so I did. But I don't know why. He came to one of my works, as Jason just said, and then was like, hey man, you should be crediting these other people who didn't ask for it. And I'm like, he's right about that. But he ended it by saying, hey dude, you need to do this because you're only 30% of a final product. And that was like a fucking shot to the heart. Someone that I've financially supported, I've done everything they've ever asked. They come to me and tell me that my work is just the end of the line. It's just the product that comes off a conveyor belt. I'm just a worker. That shit hurt. So when, like I said earlier, I doubt my friends meant anything by it. Maybe they did, who knows. But when they agreed and said, yeah, when you think of it, animating is only just the end half, just 30%. It destroyed me. I wanted to believe that I was finally good at something. Finally I had something that I could be proud of. And to be told that, no, it's just a lesser part of a final product. It hurt. It hurt really bad. Because even when I brought up the just as stupid thing saying like, well, what are fucking artists without a pencil, huh? They're only fucking like 20% of the work. Pencil does all the drawing. It's retarded. No one's gonna believe it. But that's the thing. It was already too late. They said that shit to me, and I was in a stump
It's
for like 2 days.
because artists are more numerous. It's a more familiar territory. People have drawn growing up. They can relate to it more. Whereas animators are a much easier target. It's the same shit as Twitter. It's because they don't understand it, therefore it's easier to dehumanize. So you're just, like you said, you're just an end-to-end means. Mm-hmm. So you could just get out of the picture if someone else can do it in their minds. And that's really disrespectful.
Well, that's the thing, actually. That's what really bothered me the most. It wasn't the fact that he said it. Well, the guy who said it, I was like, yeah, this is pretty dumb. It's the fact that I showed it to my animator friends, and they agreed. I said straight up, the only reason this isn't bothering them is because it isn't said about them. I can guarantee if anybody else got this, and they were told, hey, your stuff's only 30% of a final product, you're nothing, they would be hurting just as much as I was. But because they weren't, I don't think they could see it. Because they look at it from the logical standpoint. Yes, to make an animation, there's a lot of different things. But that comes to everything. To eat fucking breakfast, how many fucking people had to go grow that food, transport it, crop it, do all that kind of shit? Are you gonna be like, eating breakfast was only like 1% of the fucking meal, dude? You're nothing without this.
I remember I got drama one time. This is the one time in my whole career. So at this point, I had already done 100 animations, about 60 votes. One artist was like, "Hey, you didn't credit me for being put in a vote." I'm like, "What?" It's a vote. Like, the whole point of it is so that whoever wins gets a free animation. I contact them. You don't have to do anything. You get all the credit, all the exposure you want. It's free.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I saw a bunch of the shit.
It was so stupid. And sure enough, they take it to Twitter. It's like, look, this person's stealing artwork now. Like, oh shit, oh, what a terrible person. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
All that ended up happening was that, so that fetish didn't get animated. And it still hasn't, because it just put a bad taste in my mouth. Mm-hmm. That's all that happened. It's like, well, there's your reward. You don't get a free animation. It's like, are you happy? Like, what was the point of that?
Yeah. Like, that's something I've seen. I don't think he specifically meant to do it. Well, maybe he did, because once again, I don't know who it was. I don't remember. But I've seen many people do this. They're so protective of their art that even like a fucking crop off to the side in a YouTube video, they're gonna be like, how fucking dare you? I'm gonna kill you right now. Like, it doesn't really matter whether or not you like meant to steal it, you ever even meant to use it. Like, just having it on your vote, you were just going to ask afterwards. To them, the fact that you even had it there, they thought it was stealing. Of course, they're wrong.
They thought it was a threat. Yeah, like, the name is there. Like, it's full, it links to the page. It does everything that you expect. But it's like, oh, you didn't give me permission in like, advance to even be on the vote. That's the issue.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even about credit.
Yeah, that is kind of silly. Well, it's more than kind of silly. It's completely silly. But, whatever. People do that.
It's like saying that any resource you put in a YouTube video, you can't make a comment about anything, you can't do anything. It's a slippery slope mentality, like you said. Like, it sounds ridiculous because it is. That's what it is, you know what I mean? That's why it's only been a one-off thing. Is one instance of someone being very insecure about their artwork and then blowing it up.
That's actually where that model thing's come from, because the biggest issue that I had when it came to this stuff is everyone was like, you should fucking source and credit every single model you use. And I mean, in a way, they aren't wrong. But I always do if it's something that isn't publicly available. If I bought something from someone, the first post, I will always link back to them. Well, now I just link them forever because, like I said, that thing destroyed me, so now I'm still in recovery. But I understand why they want me to do it, and maybe I should. But to the point where they're, like, threatening to, like, how dare you use this without crediting? It's like, dude, I found this shit online for free. It was publicly hosted. It's why I don't want to give around my, my models and stuff. Because I know they'll never be linked back to me. And that's why I wouldn't do it for free. Because, yeah, I kinda do. And that's why anytime an artist or a modeler will ask me to always do their stuff, I always will. But the thing is, most of the ones I got from, they never asked that. I asked them if they wanted me to do it. They said no, they don't care. So, getting that entire situation was a fuck up. I didn't like it. Hopefully it won't happen like that again, but who knows.
I try and make a consistent stance on that. So when it comes to like sharing stuff and all that, I've made it a point, and you can see it with that Verge model, is that I just let people use my shit. I don't care. I get messages every other day. It's like, hey, Jasonafex, you know that there's like 16 people role-playing as you right now, like all sorts of different platforms, right? You have like 12 imposters on Twitter, you have like 16 fake Steam accounts, and it's like, yeah, just let them have their fun. They're obviously, the entire point I'm making this content in the first place is so people have fun. So if people are having fun with the characters in ways that don't disturb other people and doesn't affect me, because it doesn't really bother me, then go for it. I don't give a shit. Have fun. That's the point. I want people to enjoy the content.
Yeah, that's a good stance for it.
So like for the 3D model, I would like them to credit the person that made the model, because he probably needs a rub. That's fine. But for me, I don't care. If you enjoy putting the character in certain situations, go for it. Just don't smear it. Just don't like put a fucking Nazi hat on and make him heil.
Yeah. Because that reminds me of something, actually. You might have seen it around a few weeks, I'd say. Some drama was revealed that some guy was, like, drawing fan art for people, and then, like, immediately saying, okay, now, you need to give me something back.
Oof. Ooh, yeah. We've encountered that a lot. So people like, can I gift for you? And we're like, only if you don't, like, that's the sad thing, is like, they give you the gift, so alright, now post it to your gallery and plug it on Twitter. It's like, no. We don't think it's, yeah, like, it might be for various reasons, maybe it's really cheap, like, maybe it's like MS Paint worthy. And like, you have a certain standard in your gallery, you wouldn't commission something like that, so why would you put it up in your gallery? And then sure enough, you're now the worst person in the world. There's one person that did that. They drew like a really, really crude gift art for me and my fiance's characters, and he has been trying to smear us for 3 years since.
What the fuck?
It's like, what kind of gift is that? If you're trying to get more in return, it's not a gift, it's a bribe. It's a trap, is what it is.
Yeah.
You're trying to entrap people.
Like, without a doubt, I'm really happy when anybody draws my stuff. It gives me, like, fucking the biggest smile in the world. And the thing is, if I know the person, if I'm good friends with them, of course I want to do something back. But if there's someone, like, I've never talked to before, like, I'm not gonna be
Just
like...
comes out of the blue, it's like, hey, can I do this for you? It's like, okay.
It's like, yeah, you're welcome to do it for me, but I'm sorry, I don't know you, I'm not gonna do something back. Like, I'm gonna thank you if your stuff's really good, and it isn't, like, some shitpost. Like, I don't want to demean people, because maybe they did try, even if it doesn't look so good. But if it doesn't look like I want to, like, throw up from looking at it, of course I'll give it a reblog. But I haven't, like, dealt with stuff like that. But when it comes to the story I was talking about, it was draw my stuff, and then if you don't, I'll constantly draw myself killing your characters and spam it to you on every platform. This person was really fucked up. Like...
we've had people that draw their characters like stabbing my fiance in the chest and all that. Luckily that person was banned from the country, but yeah, there's really like unhinged people in the community, sadly, and they do whatever they can to try and get into a place of power, and that involves trying to blackmail popular
Every
people.
time I hear about that story, I still can't believe it. I'm not going to talk about it on air, obviously, but man, what a ride. You fucking guys have so much weird shit going around you, and I feel bad. You don't deserve no.
Yeah, and then people immediately take advantage when you lose patience. It's like, oh, there's no way that these people have like harassment. No, it's not possible. They're just bullies.
Yeah. But I always wonder when it comes to stuff like that. Do you think these people realize what they're doing sometimes, or do you think that they genuinely believe they're in the right?
I 100% believe that they are genuinely in the right. Like that's the scary part, is they think that they are being righteous and that they are somehow enforcing justice.
Yeah.
Like, sadly, there is some people caught in the middle where they just try and defend people that they believe are the victims. So it's very natural to lean on the side of people that might be a minority. So a trans person or something is default the pure and innocent one in an exchange most of the time, which makes people very toxic, because then they take advantage of that. They feel like they can do anything.
Oh well, like I said, I believe people will get over it. At least I hope they do, because holy shit, if it gets worse than it is now, I don't know where the hell this is going.
We should that's a good shit talk for almost an hour. We should probably end the episode on something positive. What would you say, as a little story, is the best experience you've ever had doing what you do in the furry community?
That is a really good question, honestly. I think it was,
I don't think I have a good story, actually.
No, not like that. It's just I have a lot of things I could say. So I think I'm gonna converse them down into one. The best thing to happen is the people that I've met. I've met so many great people from and before I started working. So many people come out and they say so many great things about my art, and I get to say the same to them. We are mutually sucking each other's dicks, so to say. And it feels wonderful, dude. The fact that I can tell these people how good I think they are, and they can say the same to me, and we're both genuine about it. Everyone is just... When you actually get to know people, it makes it so much better to hear that they believe in what you're doing. Like, even when, like I was saying earlier, gut punches can hurt, deep down, what really matters is the fact that you can rely on people to believe in you. The things that you do, the things that you say, and the things that you stand for. It may be hard to find at some point, but when it comes down to it, having someone that you look up to, someone that you believe in, someone that you care about, and having them say, you know what, man, you're doing all right. That means a lot, and it's really been helping me through life, I have to say.
Yeah, like we all go through different phases in life, and one of the phases that a lot of people face is that identity phase. It's like, who am I, and who are the people that I need to associate with so that I can elevate myself to the best version of me. And that often involves having to let go of a lot of people that might have been in our life for a long time up until that point, like high school friends is sadly a lot of people that we end up growing out of as we move out. We might move, we might travel, we might grow new interests. Yeah. Family, like as you learn what your sexuality is in your adolescence or just other aspects, it's harder to connect with family. So as we get to that age, friends and closer networks become more and more important. And it's very important that when the chips are down, you do have that support group that are there to help you back up to your feet rather than just stab you right in the gut.
Exactly. Like, that's another thing that I worry about. I'm talking about so many people these days, or talking to, and I never want to let them go. Not by accident, I mean. Because when you have so many people to talk about, or to talk to, you can only talk to so many at once. Keep up with so many people. And there's so many that I want to know that even if I haven't talked to them in a while, I still care deeply about them. I just haven't been able to figure out a conversation. Because, as I already stated, just being like, hello, is a bit weird to me.
Yeah, I agree. I thought you were trailing on additionally there, but I think that was the end of it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So, any small little blip for the end of the episode that you'd like to say to your fans?
Well, if I'm talking directly to the fans, straight up, you guys make doing this so much more fun. If I was just doing it to myself, I'd mostly just do it for myself, just to see what I enjoy. But the fact that you guys can come here and tell me that you like what I'm doing, that what I'm doing is good and that I should keep doing it, that's what helps me get up in the morning. Not even metaphorically speaking. Knowing that I do stuff that people enjoy, it's what I love. And I must say, I thank every single person who has ever said any nice thing. Even if it was just good job, to holy shit man, you're the best, I love you. From the smallest to the highest point, you guys have always been there for me and I will never forget it.
That's a pretty good ending sentiment if I've ever heard one. Alright, thanks everyone for watching Cuckshack episode something or other. We'll see you next time. Alright, see ya. Bye. Cuckshack, see ya.
Wasn't that a great episode? Next time we won't wait a month after the con. You can see previous episodes below if you want more Cuckshack.